Greetings to you today and welcome to our daily Devo on this 4th of July today. And hope you have a nice day. And I guess last I heard we might get rain today, so we'll see. Oddly enough, today's devotion is entitled Mothers. And it's not Mother's Day, it's 4th of July. It's found in Charles Dickens's work, David Copperfield. God knows how infantine the memory may have been that was awkward within me by the sound of my mother's voice in the parlor. She was singing in a low tone. I think I must have lain in her arms and heard her singing so to me when I was but a baby. The strain was new to me, and yet it was so old that it filled my heart brimful, like a friend come back from a long absence. I believed, from the solitary and thoughtful way in which my mother murmured her song, that she was alone. And I went softly into the room. She was sitting by the fire, suckling an infant, whose tiny hand she held against her neck. Her eyes were looking down upon its face, and she sat singing to it. I was so far right that she had no other companion. I spoke to her, and she started and cried out. But seeing me, she called me to her dear Davy. She called me her dear Davy, her own boy. And coming half across the room to meet me, kneeled down upon the ground and kissed me, and laid my head down on her bosom near the little creature that was nestling there, and put its hand to my lips. I wish I had died. I wish I had died then, with that feeling in my heart. I should have been more fit for heaven than I have ever been since. Wow. Again, from David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Now some thoughts from Gene Fisher. When David Copperfield returned home after being away at boarding school, the first sound he heard was that of his mother gently singing to his baby brother. In stark contrast to the cold indifference of David's school, Dickens created an image here of the comforting warmth of a mother's love. It so filled David's heart that he felt close to heaven. This is how the Bible describes the role of women as wives and mothers. A wife of noble character is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her. She brings him good, not harm. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. A woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned. Believe that would be the Proverbs 31 passage, but it's not listed here. It's lists verses 10 to 31, but it doesn't say what chapter it is, and I believe again is chapter 31 of Proverbs. God's love is mirrored in a mother's love. Both are available morning, noon, and night to address the family's needs. Through a mother's love, we can glimpse the nature of God's own love, a nurturing love, a comforting love, teaching and disciplining love is given to us. So although the role of motherhood may seem mundane at times, it is a lofty calling created by the Lord and worthy of praise. Wish this Devo had been out back around Mother's Day for some helpful tips on how to preach it. Ezekiel 19, verse 10, your mother was like a vine in your vineyard planted by the water. Every one of us knows that not all mothers fit the bill in the description here. Sorry to say, sad to say, mothers have their own weaknesses, have their own issues in how they were raised. Maybe they didn't learn how to be this kind of mother because their mother wasn't like this. Who knows? But there is something special when we think of that word mother, when we think of giving birth, when we think of caring for young children and all of those things. There is something special there. And Charles Dickens caught that in this section we read, this segment of David Copperfield, just that sense of being home instead of at the school he was going to, where it was a lot different. Being home, hearing his mother sing to his younger brother, just a child, just a babe, and being welcomed home the way he was welcomed home. It does impact the heart. It does impact the soul. And that's how God is with us. God is likened to a mother's love, as our author here, Gene Fisher, tells us. That loving, caring, embracing. On the flip side of that, the father of the prodigal son captures the imagery of God and his forgiveness and his love to us no matter what we've done. Thank the Lord for his creation. Thank the Lord for the way he did not just make Adam, but he realized that Adam needed a helper. And so he created Eve then as well. And together, man and woman, father, mother, we get the full image of the character and nature of how God is toward us. Caring, disciplining, loving, nurturing, teaching, training, all of those things in all the relationships we have with parents, hopefully the relationships we try to be as husband and wife, as mother and father to children we have. It's to raise them up in the way they should go, and not to carry on family traditions as much as they to teach and train them to carry on God's traditions and God's character. Blessings to you today.